So what's up with free will? If God really did give us free will, how can he be mad at us for using free will to do whatever we want and to live however we want? Okay, so there are two ways to look at free will. So you have the first way where you have the free will to do whatever you want, no consequences, no problem. Then there's the second way. You also have the free will to do whatever you want, but this time with consequences. So obviously that second way is the biblical view, the view that would show how God feels about free will. You can do whatever you want to do, but there is consequence. Now, the God view is not a very hard view to understand because our entire world exists around this premise, the ability for you to choose whatever you want to do, but with consequence. For example, you're free to steal a car if you want to, but there's going to be consequence to you stealing that car. You're free to shoot somebody, but not without consequence. You're free to drink and get drunk, to use drugs, whatever you want to do. You can do all these things, but they have consequence. You can do good things by choice. You can get a job and work hard, or you can also hardly work at that same job. All this is something that you can choose to do, but it does have consequence. You can go to the ocean if you want and try to breathe in the ocean water, thinking that maybe someday you'll become a fish. Well, you can do that, but there's going to be consequence when you do it. See, all of these things are evidences of free will that we see every day and in real time, undeniably. Just because you have the freedom to do something doesn't mean the person who gave you the ability to do it is to blame when you act out on doing that thing. That freedom to choose to do whatever you want is what makes life life. So then you might say, well then, how can I be wrong for living if that's the whole point of life? Well, let's take one of those examples to kind of break it down a little bit. Let's look at stealing that car. So you can say, why make cars stealable if you don't want me to steal one? So there's very little difference between a car being stealable and drivable. Simply by the fact that somebody can drive the car means anybody can drive the car if you can drive. It's not stealable as a form of temptation. It's stealable because it's also drivable. In other words, if you can make the car start with the key, then maybe they can make the car start with the screwdriver. But that's not possible to tempt them to steal it. It's simply possible because, hey, somehow this thing has to start up. So should cars simply not exist to prevent you from stealing them? So if we want to answer the question, why make cars stealable if you don't want me to steal one? It would be very simple to do this if we look at it logically. Cars are made stealable because they're drivable. They're drivable and they exist because they're very useful. They help us to get far places in a very short amount of time. They're a great invention to have. Should we get rid of that invention simply to stop you from stealing cars? How much sense does that make? So blaming God for your ability to choose is a lot like blaming a car maker for your ability to steal cars. We don't fault car makers for car thieves. We fault the thieves for choosing to steal the cars that we need and use and that we love to have. So there are a ton of good things you can do without choosing to do bad things at all. So consider the fruit in the garden with Adam and Eve when they chose to eat that fruit that brought wisdom and then brought corruption to them. Why even have that piece of fruit there? Well, before you even say that, you got to look at the point before that there was a whole thousands of other fruit and vegetables that they could have eaten before they even got to that thing. This is the reality of the thought process. There's so many good things you can do before you get to this choosing of the bad thing. But then you'll say, why even leave the choice there? Why have the fruit there in the first place if you don't want me to eat it? Well, for me, here's the main part of this whole argument. Choice, free will is what makes us us. Free will creates personhood. Without the ability to choose, we're not even people. We don't even have these conversations. We're simply robots. Sorry, I'm really bad at that. The reality is the only way we can be who we are and experience what it means to be a human is through free will. In order for God to get from us what he actually wanted, there is no other way to do that outside of free will. Consider parenting. It's really no different than that. With all the technology we have, why aren't people just buying robots now instead of having children? Well, the solution to that, or the understanding of that, is a very simple one. Robots can never give you something that an actual child can give you. And we're talking about love, and personality and excitement and laughter and fun and all these things that you get from having a child. Now, the thing is, also with those things may come disobedience and bad attitudes and ungratefulness and all these other type of things. So why is it that people still are having children instead of just buying robots for themselves? Well, the answer to that is simple: because they long for real relationships. They want something that really came from them that they can love and teach and watch grow. With the robot, you simply program it to do what you want it to do, and that's the end. It can give you no more. I'm just as bad as that as I was the first time. When you think about it, even animals are preferable to robots, because that dog, cat, rat, whatever you have, whatever pet you have that you love, even you can hold that thing and it'll love you and it'll show you affection you want when people won't. That's something a robot could never do. It simply does what it's programmed to do, nothing more and nothing less. Anybody who can find love in a robot is really suffering from some type of mental issue. So without free will, we're merely programmed beings. No real life, no love, no excitement. We're just simply doing what we were programmed to do. Just how you don't want that out of a child or out of a spouse or out of a pet. So God didn't want that out of us. When people ask God to remove free will from them, they're really trying to put God into a situation where he has nothing but a prearranged marriage. God, just come and claim me. If you want me so bad, just come and take me. Forget what I'm saying. Now that sounds crazy even when you say it, because at least in most cultures these days, we don't really agree with prearranged marriages because we know that they lack love most of the time. Either way, God's not going to do that by his own choice. However much you may love someone, if you coerce them into marrying you, they're going to hate you because, hey, maybe they love someone else. God is simply giving you the choice to love someone else. However much of a great spouse he might be and all he might give you, he allows you to choose someone else. Free will is not a punishment. It's an essential key to what makes us us. It's not a trap. It's just a choice for us to choose good and right or bad and wrong. Just understanding that for whatever choice we make, there will be consequences from it. No different from how it is in life. The opportunity is there for us to make these choices because this is what makes us us. This is the part of us that is in the image of God, not our physical likeness. He doesn't look like this. It's just that ability to choose, to create. These are all things that we don't have if free will is removed from us. We lose our creativity, we lose our personhood, we lose us, and we're nothing more than robots. God simply did not want robots, and that's why we have the ability to choose. Free will is not a trap. It's a key, an essential part of us being able to be the beings that he actually wants us to be. It was much better that time.